Do 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 do. Liveness. We are alive. Are we alive? But are we? But are we really alive? Any of us? Any of us? All right. Hola, Kevin. Welcome, 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 my friend. Welcome, Steph. You are. Good evening, Jessica. How are you? Good to see you. I'm live, am I, Kev? But am I? I mean, am I? I mean, really? Hang on a second here. Oh, why doesn't technology work the way I ever want it to? There we go. There we go. Do. All right, good to see everybody. And we are here on b.hive Productions Horror Humpdays. I'm sitting this one out. Sorry, support and all that, but yeah. So Steph heard me reading it last night, so she gets a pat. Well, she's heard me read it a few times when I was writing it and after I was done writing it, and then last night when I was rehearsing it. So she gets a pass. But yeah, so tonight's story here on Hump Day Horrors is from my book Thin Spots, as most of you know. So my latest book came out last October 2024, and it's a compilation 12 short stories of terror. And it is available online at most online bookstores. So if you want to check it out, you can check it out there. The main place you can get it is Amazon. So we've got 2 more stories after tonight, and then we're done with the book. So good evening, Shannon. Good to see you, buddy. So yeah, we've got all kinds of stuff going on. After this book, we're going to be reading Pavor Nocturnus, which was the book that came out before this one. So tonight's story is called Rage Room. And how I kind of came up with the idea for this story is Stephanie, one of Stephanie's bucket list things is she wants to open up a rage room. And what a rage room is, it's actually a very good idea, but it's a place where you can go, you pay money, and they give you goggles and a baseball bat or a hammer, and you go into this room and you just smash the shit out of things. So that was where the idea for the story came from. A lot of things that happen within this story are based on true story. Yeah. So I had to add a little realism to it. Some of the roles were switched around, but yeah, for the most part, it's kind of a true story. So, but yeah, let's get into reading it. Got most of you here. I don't know where Chuck is because sometimes we need the bees and the badgers, but I see that Stephanie brought him and dropped him off before she went off into her little Steph land of the starfish. So All right, let's get into Thin Spots. Um, so the story it's one of the longer stories in the book. So I'll probably take most of the hour with it. But yeah, thank you guys for coming and thank you for showing up. And as always, thank you all very much for your support. People. People. So yeah. Yeah, this the stars that you guys have sent in the last couple of weeks really means a lot to me. I mean, it really does. I know it's only 1 cent per star or whatever, but yeah, it's it it just means a lot. It's a huge gesture on your part, and just you guys being here week after week is also huge for me as well. So appreciate you guys. Thank you all very much for doing what you do. And let's get into tonight's story. The host. No, not the host. That was last week. This one is Rage Room. There we go. I have to channel my single mom voice. All right. Let's see. Turn this up a little bit so I can hear a little better. Chinga, 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 chinga. Rage Room. I don't know, but wait till you get a load of this room, buddy. You probably like this room in this story. Rage Room. She looked at the photo again. She grit her teeth so hard she thought they would crumble beneath the pressure. That motherfucker, she said in her head. That slimy motherfucker. It was 3 a.m., and she wasn't going to sleep anytime soon. She was going to wait for Thad to show up at 8 a.m., and she was going to lay into him. Maybe throw something at him. Maybe kick him in the goddamn balls. Earlier that evening, she had taken the kids to see Despicable Me. Thad was supposedly working overnight at the old folks' home. He was a certified nursing assistant. The two always had an on-again, off-again relationship. The arguments went from little spats about how she did the dishes to full-blown out shouting matches where he'd walk out and sleep on a friend's couch. She knew it wasn't good for the kids, and it was rotting her from the inside. He stopped wanting her. When they first met, it was nearly every day of the week. It was wild, ravenous sex. They had fucked in the alley once behind a bar against a dumpster. They had even fucked in the women's bathroom at a strip club. Then, unexpected, she noticed sex started to slow to once a week, once a month. And now, how long has it been? He had even accused her of giving him chlamydia. They hadn't had sex in over 6 months, and somehow she gave him the clap. She went in and got tested out of spite, and she rubbed the negative result in his face. That argument caused him to move out. Then one night, at a weak moment, he showed up. They talked. They actually talked, and he actually listened to what she had to say. They had never had such an engaging conversation, and after a few glasses of wine, she took him to bed. And now this. Sarah's phone rang in the middle of the movie, and the patrons looked at her. She fumbled with the volume buttons on her phone. "Mom," her oldest said in a harsh whisper. "God, you're so embarrassing." She looked down at her phone. Missed call. Angie Frost. Velocity Wireless. Sarah texts her. "Hey, sorry, at the movies with the kids. Call you back later." Angie. Kinda important. You should call me as soon as possible. Hey guys, she whispered to her kids. I gotta take this call. I'll be right outside in the hall, okay? They just nodded their heads, hypnotized by the screen. She went out the doors of the theater and dialed her friend next to the garbage can. Hey, Angie answered. There was music and people talking in the background. What's up? Sarah asked, hoping it wasn't just another drunk drama call. She was known for that. I thought you and Thad were on the mend. So maybe this was drunken bar drama after all. She started feeling angry towards her old drinking buddy. Sure, they had been friends for roughly 9 years, but they grew apart when Sarah had kids and didn't want to go out bar hopping as much anymore. We are, Sarah snapped. What's this about, Ange? I don't know how to tell you this. Angie's slurred speech was getting on Sarah's nerves. I'm at the dugout with Lisa and Terry. You remember Terry, don't ya? Rich bitch with the, seriously, Ange, get to the point. My kids are by themselves in the theater. Damn, crabby much? Fuck. Look, I give a shit about you, okay? I thought you should know. Thad is here at the dugout. He's making out with some chick. A large lump balled up in Sarah's throat, and she didn't know how to respond to what she just heard. She just let it sink in a bit. Sarah, Angie asked. Yoo-hoo! You still there? Yes, she tried to collect herself. Sorry, you, cut out or something. Anyhow, thought you should know. It can't be him. He's working at Lakeview tonight. He's got the overnight shift this month. No, I'm sure it's him. You're drunk, Ange. Maybe the guy looks like that, or try calling him. I'll let you know if he picks up the phone. This is stupid. Do it. If it's not him, I'm a drunk bitch and I'll leave you to your movie. Fine, I'll call you back. She scrolled through her recent calls and touched her finger on Thad to the bone. He had put that into her phone. She hesitated, and her index finger hovered over the green phone icon for a bit, and then pressed. The phone rang a few times, and then... You have reached Thad Spencer. Please leave your message at the tone. Velocity Wireless. Beep. She pressed the phone icon again, and it turned red. She scrolled to Angie Frost and depressed the phone icon again. Honey, Angie said with drunken empathy. He picked his phone up and then ignored the call. Sarah finished the sentence. I'm so sorry, Sarah. Maybe it's just a coincidence. There was silence, and then her phone beeped. There was a message icon on her phone. Angie Frost sent you a photo. Did you get it? Angie asked. Yeah, Sarah said robotically. Sarah pushed the message icon. The photo showed a man in his mid-30s. He was sitting in a chair at a bar. There was a young woman straddling him, and her legs and arms were wrapped around him, and she was kissing him hard on the lips. His arms were also tight about her, and his lips welcomed hers, like the way he used to kiss Sarah. She couldn't deny that the tattoo on his forearm was Thad's. He got it when they were on vacation in New Orleans. It was stereotypical tribal tattoo. She thought it was ridiculous. Thad wasn't part of any tribe. He was as white as Wonder Bread. Again, Angie said. I'm sorry. Thanks for letting me know, Sarah said without feeling. Always got your back, bitch. I'll talk to you later. Do you need to talk? I can't. I have to be a mom right now. Call me if you need me. Bye. She wanted to break down, but she couldn't. It was movie night with her kids, and she had to put her shit aside and go and enjoy the rest of the movie. But she couldn't enjoy the movie. There was a scene where the kids had just won a giant stuffed unicorn, and the girl commented on how fluffy it was in the cutest way. Her kids gave out their aw and nudged her. She put on a weak smile and patted her daughter's leg. When the movie finished, they were tired, and she was anxious to get them to bed so she could what? What should have been hurt was actually rage, pure and hot. Her forearms ached to punch a hole in the drywall, smash the windows, or kick the goddamn dog. But she couldn't. She poured herself a small glass of whiskey and went out on the back steps and lit a cigarette. Rock up and knock him out. Hey, cuz, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. At 8:20 a.m., he came in through the front door. He was wearing his hospital scrubs, and he looked as if he'd been hit with a Mack truck. "You're up early," he said with a nervous smile. "There's coffee in the pot," she said. "I probably shouldn't. I'll be up all day then." "It's decaf." "Oh, okay. Thanks." "How was work?" "Ugh, busy as hell. It was just me and Bonnie on last night, and we had a patient calls all goddamn night. Didn't even have time for a bathroom break. And of course, the RNs didn't do shit but sit and chart at their station all night." "Huh. Sounds really busy." "I was worried. Didn't answer my call last night." "Oh, shit. Yeah. Sorry. Like I said, way too busy." Sarah pulled up the photo Angie had sent her, and then slid her phone across the table to him. He was in mid-sip when he looked down at her phone. "Who might this be?" she asked with a spiteful smile. He wrestled with words. What? Are you spying on me?" Suddenly, he was angry. "Not at all," she said calmly. "I was at the movies with the kids. A friend sent this to me." I'm really tired. Can we talk about this later?" "Let me tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to wake the kids up, get them dressed, and then we're going to my mom's for the day. In the meantime, you're going to pack your belongings, and I mean all of your belongings, and get the fuck out of mine and the kid's life forever." "Come on, Sarah, you have no idea how close I am to smashing your fucking face with the coffee pot right now. If I had my way, your nuts would be so far up your throat you'd choke on 'em. Pack up your fucking shit, Thad. And I mean all of it. I don't want to find your underwear anywhere or one of your fucking Star Wars collectibles laying around somewhere. Gone. Got me?" He got her. Hey, Bobby. Thanks for the sponsorship, buddy. Thanks for the stars. Appreciate it. The kids were wondering why their mom was so sad, and why wasn't Thad coming with them to Grandma's house. All of this why, and she just wanted to vent all of this hurt and anger, but she had to stuff it. "What's up, bitch?" Angie said. She was hungover, but had the gift to act like she wasn't. "You doing okay?" No, Sarah said, and began to cry. She did it quietly so her mother and kids didn't hear her. Oh, sweetie. I'm just so angry. I want to punch something, but I feel like there's never an opportunity. I always have to keep calm for the kids. You learned that from your mom, probably. Gotta be upstanding Lutheran woman, you know. Been like that since we were kids. I guess so. I just sit here and cry. Have you heard about the rage room in Minneapolis? What the fuck is a rage room? I'm looking at it online right now. Some new fad, I guess. You show up, pay them like $100, and then go into a room and smash the shit out of things. Are you fucking serious? I'm reading it to you verbatim. Oh my god, that sounds perfect. How about we go this weekend? My treat. Oh, Ange, really? Yeah. Got to fill out this paperwork online before you go in. A waiver of some sort, I guess. I'll send over the link. Oh, thank you, Ange. You're the best. I always got you, bitch. Bitch. Whore. The two laughed like they were in high school again and hung up. The link came over immediately in her Gmail, and she clicked on it again. She clicked on it and dug in. There were multiple questions, almost like a psychological evaluation form. I guess that makes sense, she thought. Don't want some psycho coming in there with a hammer and taking out everyone. She genuinely felt happy. Maybe that was too strong a word. Maybe optimistic was a better one. Either way, she had a slight smile on her lips as she tapped away her answers, and the tears dried up on her cheeks. They pulled into the parking ramp just off Nicollet Avenue. The Rage Room was a few blocks away. There was a Timberwolves game tonight, and parking was far and few between. But they didn't mind the walk, and being in the city always excited Sarah. The place wasn't off the mall like they had thought. It was off a side street, and you had to go down a pair of steps to get to it. A neon sign read, Apollyon Properties, LLC presents The Rage Room. Appointment only. Looks a little sketch, Sarah joked. All the better, Angie said. We should have stopped for a couple before we came here. We would have never made our appointments. Hey, Kevin, thank you very much for the sponsorship, buddy. I appreciate that. We would have never made our appointments. True enough. They walked down the stone steps and pushed open the smoked glass door. Beyond it was the front desk and what looked like to be a waiting room. A woman in a red sport coat and black leggings greeted them. Are you Sarah? She asked. I am, Sarah answered. And you must be Angela? Angie, her friend said. Well, welcome to the both of you, the woman said, deep red lipstick perfectly tracing the curve of her mouth. My name is Janice Abaddon. I'll be your hostess. Hey, Chuck. You're here. My name is Janice Abaddon. I'll be your hostess. Is this your first time at a rage room? Yes, Sarah said. I read about you on your website. I'm very excited. Well, each room is catered to your specific needs. No two rooms are the same. Isn't it just a bunch of breakable objects in a room and I get to smash them? There was a condescending smile from Miss Abaddon. It's a little more complicated than that. Each room is filled with objects that mean something to you. It personalizes the experience to get the full therapeutic benefit of the rage room. Well then, let's do this shit. I'll just need you to sign a waiver for us. Janice presented her with a touchscreen pad to sign. I thought I already signed that online. That was a questionnaire to build your profile. Sarah signed with the stylus attached to the pad. You're all set to go then, Miss Abaddon said. Please step into the prep room down the hall and to your left. Sarah began to walk and noticed Angie stayed put. Are you coming? She asked. Miss Frost, Miss Abaddon said. Sorry, Angie has her own room to go in. Like I said, each room is catered to the individual needs of the client. Okay, see you later, bitch. Not if I see you first, slut, Angie jokes back. There's another person in the prep room. It's a middle-aged man, clean-shaven with his hair slicked back with too much pomade. How you doing, Sarah? He said with a yellow smile. Good, she says nervously. There's no reason to be nervous. My name is Mr. Rabia, and I'm here to make sure you don't get hurt while in the rage room, and that you have a wonderful time. Awesome. When can I smash shit? Well, first we need to get you into a safety suit. A safety suit? Kinda like a padded medical scrub. Protect you from getting any shards of glass in you. Ah, gotcha. And here's your pair of safety glasses and your hard hat. What the hell is the fun in this? I read your profile, Sarah. From what I can see, you're not here for fun. You're here because you feel like you've never had the opportunity to express the rage that boils inside you. Am I correct? Sarah nods. Some of the cockiness has left her. He pulls up her profile on a screen in front of them. Jesus, kid, he says. Looks like this Thad guy put you through the ringer. A tear began to build in her eye. According to our psychologists, you've been repressed your whole life. Your mother, I'm guessing. It's taught you to be a doormat. Grin and bear it. Stiff upper lip kind of stuff. I see your mother as well. That you're a mother as well. Ah, well, God forbid you should show your kids that life isn't the Disney Channel every day, am I right? You work in finance? That's a cutthroat business. Let's see. Passed over twice for a promotion. Judging by your profile, you've put in the overtime and they switched you to salary? How did you get all that information? She said, still holding on to that tear threatening to spill over her cheek. You signed the release of information waiver when you did your online questionnaire. I did? Yep. But most of all this stuff came to a head with our man Thaddeus Spencer. She felt her teeth clench again. On the screen, the photo came up that Angie had sent to her phone. What a piece of work, this guy, Mr. Rabia said. Yes, she said. Her nose was beginning to run, and she sniffed that in too. All you wanted was to be appreciated, loved the way you love, treated the way you thought you deserved to be treated. Stop me if I'm off in left field here. The tears spilled. One salty trail down the slope of her cheek, trailing her mascara with it, leaving a black streak in the shape of her jaw. That's it, Mr. Rabia said. Hang on to that. She released all that raw hurt and anger. It felt like a pack of rabid dogs running around and growling in her guts. "This is why you're here, Sarah," he said, handing her a large iron mallet. "The things you see in the rage room are the things that make you feel the way you do right now. Your job, my dear, is to take that horrible anguish you carry around in your guts and release it through the end of this fucking hammer. Can you dig that?" She could dig that. She could dig that very well. "Go get 'em, baby," he said, and pushed a button that opened the sliding door into the rage room. Sarah ran full tilt into the next room. As the door slid closed behind her, she noticed the room was empty. Well lit, but sterile in the whiteness of it. Padded walls and a gym mat for flooring tiles. She was confused at first, began to feel foolish for letting her feelings out, until she heard a whirring sound from the ceiling, and then a large glass rectangle slid down in front of her. Within that glass was the photo of Thad making out with that fucking bar slut. Immediately the anger came back, and she swung the hammer clumsily, and the photo splintered and then crashed in large chunks to the floor. She bent down and began to smash the large pieces into little shards, and eventually they were pummeled to dust. She was breathing heavy, and her safety glasses were streamed up. "Are you ready for more?" a voice came across the hidden speaker. "Yes!" she screamed. There was a clicking sound from the wall in front of her, and then a panel slid up, revealing a long tray filled with cell phones stood on end and fastened with metal clips. The tray moved forward, and the screens clicked on, revealing video chats of Thad talking with that woman he was making out with. She screamed and brought the hammer down with both hands on the first phone, and the screen spiderwebbed. Multicolored static flickered on the screen with black chunks sitting vacant. Sarah swung at the other phones, and they followed suit. The videos kept going, though distorted and skippy. "Silence that hurt, Sarah," the voice said. She let out a loud grunt and battered the phone mercilessly until the little machine cracked in half. She did the same to the others until they were all silent. She was sweaty and out of breath. Her nerves shook and felt some euphoria from releasing all this pent-up anger. Her hair matted and messed. She sat trembling with the hammer in her hand. There was a clicking noise, like the sound a cartoon crab would make, snapping its claws in the air. And then 3 old Zenith CRT console televisions appeared from the floor. They whirred to waist height, and then there was a solid clank, and then a spark popped on the screens, and then an old static-filled countdown clock appeared on the screen. After the countdown got to 0, it looked to be an old 8mm film clip starting on the screen. She recognized the scene right away. They were having a picnic, her father and mother, her brother Blake, and a 9-year-old Sarah. She remembers this day clearly because Blake was getting all the attention. Her father, who was filming, kept the camera on Blake for the majority of the film. There is a short 5-second scene where she asks her mother to play a game with her. Chess, if she remembers correctly. She was so elated that her mom agreed to play with her. Then the scene went back to Blake, who was showing off at the top of the slide. There was no sound, but she could play the soundtrack in her head. The scene then switches to her and Mom playing a board game. And that soft, innocent smile of happiness shined on young Sarah's face. Her brother walks into the scene and tugs on his mother's summer dress. Her mother stands and her brother brings her over to the swing set. The camera follows. What the camera doesn't show is a sullen Sarah sitting on the picnic blanket by herself with a chessboard in front of her. Sarah cried out, swung the hammer in a side arc, and hit the old screen dead center, leaving a large, jagged hole. She struggled to pull it out again, and when she did, the inertia sent her sprawling onto the floor. "Get up, Sarah," the voice ordered. "You're not a doormat. Get up and finish the job." Her teeth grit, saliva rimming the sides of her mouth. She growled and used the hammer to help her get back up, and she brought the hammer down on the television. Sparks poured out like fireworks. Ionized smoke rose from the zenith's guts. She let the hammer drop from her hands, and she picked up the television set and smashed it down on the other set. It exploded in another array of sparks and flashes of light. The smell of burning electronics filled her nostrils. The final television droned on and on with the film. "Motherfuckers!" she screamed, and kicked the television as hard as she could. The screen blinked a little, but it corrected itself. She walked behind the console and bent down and gripped either side of it and began to push it over. The screen flashed on and off, and eventually it popped and smoked. Sarah laid on the floor, leaning on the tipped-over set. She was out of breath, and she removed her safety glasses. "Are you done?" the voice asked. "No," she grunted in a hoarse rasp. "That's the spirit. We've got one last thing for you. Please stand up." She slowly made her way to her feet. A slim white platform extended from the wall. "Please step up onto the platform, Sarah," the voice ordered. She stepped up onto the platform, and a panel slid open on the side wall. The floor began to hum, and then carried all the carnage out of the room, and the panel slid back into place, and the room was empty again. "There'll be a weapon in the drawer in front of you. The floor is safe now, and you can step off the platform and obtain the weapon." She steps down and walks over to the drawer that has slid open. Next to a sweating bottle of Evian water was a heavy studded baseball bat that sat in a foam backing. She curled her fingers around the handle and brought it out so that it was vertical. The drawer slid closed, and she stepped back looking around. "Your final item will be joining you next. Enjoy a drink of water and catch your breath. Please, please keep in mind that we here at the Rage Room are not here to judge you. This is a therapeutic exercise for your benefit, and everything that is said and done here stays here. That being said, are you ready for your next smash item?" "Bring it," she snarled. "Please stand back." From the ceiling, a set of feet, and then legs, a man's midsection, a torso, and then it was him. Thad was strapped to long cables from his extremities. He was naked with what looked to be electrodes attached to each one of his testicles. His eyes were already frightened, but even more so when he recognized Sarah standing there with a metal-studded bat. "Please, Sarah," he whimpered. Please, baby, don't do this. Thad? Her emotions changed, and she was shocked to see him like this. Get me out of this! Sure, she hated him, but she didn't want to harm him. Did she want him to hurt? Yes, of course, but not like this. Sarah! He screamed. Help me! What are you waiting for, Sarah? Came the voice. This man took your trust, your dignity, and your heart. He knows where you came from, but he used you up anyways. I know, but... Sarah said. But nothing. He didn't care about your feelings when he fucked that other woman, did he? He didn't think about how much it hurt you and broke your heart. She bit her lip. She was feeling torn. The fight had been taken out of her from the previous session of smashing things. But now... Get me down, baby, Thad said. Get me down, and you and I will get out of this crazy fucking place. And then what, Thad? She said. We'll live happily ever after again? Whatever you want. I'll listen more. I'll spend more time at home. Why don't you ask him where we found him, Sarah? The voice said. Thad looked desperate. There was a clanking sound, and then whirring, as the girl that he had been cheating on her with came down out of the ceiling, fastened in the same way as Thad. You, Sarah said through grinding teeth. Please, Sarah, Thad cried. I'll leave her. Just... You are fucking dead! Sarah lifted up the bat, meaning to bring it down solidly on top of Thad's head. Stop! The voice said. Please hold. Let me fucking do this, Sarah spat. You said you wouldn't judge me. You said, may I suggest that you damage the woman first? Make him watch the consequences of his actions? She stared a hole through Thad's face, and then turned her attention to the slut hanging next to him. The woman began to cry, and pleaded with Sarah to put the bat down. Thad watched, as if in slow motion. His girlfriend began to scream, but it was cut short when the bat connected with her jaw, and it shattered and went slack, hanging down to her perky little breasts. Blood ran in freshets from her gaping maw, teeth lying in their own pools of blood on the floor. Stop this, Sarah, Thad said in horror. Please, you need to... The woman's eyes were rolled back in her head, and when Sarah brought the bat down on top of her skull, a crunching sound reverberated down the metal handle, and her left eye popped out of its socket and landed at Thad's feet. He shrieked and tried to swing away from the pulped ruin of her head. Sarah wound up and let another swing go into the bitch's ribs. They cracked, and a dark purple bruise immediately formed. Blood ran in a dark torrent out of the broken mouth and splashed on the ground. There was blood spattered on the side of her face. Sarah admired her handiwork and had a wicked smile on her face. Thad was only uttering little cries, and snot bubbled from his nostrils. She turned and faced him, and he immediately tried to stop his bottom lip from quivering. Was it worth it, babe? She said, cocking her head to the side and resting the bat on the other. Please, Sarah, he whimpered. I'll do anything. Anything. You're willing to do anything to make this right? Yes! Anything, baby. You name it. I'll even... In mid-sentence, Thad saw Sarah stab forward with the bat. It hit him square in the nose, and he sneezed out a large gob of blood. Sarah! He said, what are you... The bat came again and cracked his rib cage. His wind was knocked out of his lungs, and he gasped for air. He tried to say. Then another whack, and his shoulder broke. She took her time with him. The room was soundproof, so the last of his screams and cracking of his bones could not be heard. Are you finished, Sarah? The voice asked. Because if not, we could bring in your mother. Or perhaps you'd rather enjoy your brother Blake. I'm good, she panted. For now. She showered when finished. The hot, soapy water seemed to wash the rest of her anger away. She took a deep, steamy breath, and her insides felt as clean as her outside. Miss Abaddon came into the locker room with a fluffy, warm robe. Your friend's session is still going, she said, smiling that razor-blade smile. Wrap yourself in this, and enjoy some wine in the lobby. Damn, Sarah thought. Angie must have a lot of shit to work out. She took a seat on the overstuffed leather couch, and Miss Abaddon handed her a glass of red wine. I hope you don't mind, she said. We've only got Pinot. That totally works, Sarah said gratefully. Mr. Rabia said you had a good session? I had a great session. Thank you. She sipped her wine and proceeded what she had done, and processed what she had done. A little guilt hung around, but she took another gulp from her wine, and it disappeared. What will happen with... Sarah nodded towards the room where the battered corpses of Thad and his girlfriend hung. Not to worry, Miss Abaddon smiled. We take care of everything. Sarah pulled out her phone. She thought she'd erase everything she had from Thad on it. It was time, and she was ready. She tapped her phone, but it wouldn't turn on. What the fuck? She said quietly. Is there a problem? Miss Abaddon asked. No, I... Her field of vision began to swim. Solid objects began to melt. Miss Abaddon was speaking, but she sounded so far away. Eventually, Sarah began to drown in expanding darkness. It was dark. She didn't know where she was, but she knew right away that she was naked. And her hands and feet were restrained. Something painful was attached to her breasts. What the fuck is this? She shouted to the darkness. Then there was a series of clicks and clangs. It shook her whole body, and then light poured out from under her. She couldn't make out what was below her, and she felt herself being lowered down. What the fuck is this? She repeated. What's going on? Her motion came to a sudden halt, and she blinked a few times, and her eyes adjusted to the bright lights. Before her, Angie stood holding a butcher's knife. She was sweaty and looked exhausted. Ange? Sarah muttered. What's going on? You don't think I know, do you? Angie asked. What are you talking about? You fucked him, didn't you? I don't know what you're... Angie brought the knife down and cut her from her right shoulder and across her left breast. Jesus fucking Christ, Ange! Sarah shouted. What in the actual fuck? You always got whoever you wanted, Sarah. Angie was crying. Couldn't let me have a man. Just once. I found someone that loved me. Are you talking about Dave? Yes, I'm talking about fucking Dave. Angie, I never... Bullshit! I've got photographs and screenshots of texts you two sent to each other. You fucking bitch. Sarah couldn't deny this. It was one of her and Thad's off periods. She and Angie were hanging out drinking with Angie's boyfriend, Dave. They were drunk. Angie passed out. And they had a weak moment together. It turned into many weak moments. He left me for you, Angie screamed and brought the knife across Sarah's face. Angie, he didn't mean anything to me. Please, you got to... Another swing of the knife, and it went into Sarah's rib cage and ripped a large hole in her lung. You all had someone, Angie said, sobbing. I just wanted someone to love me, too. Sarah wanted to apologize, and she tried, but her words were cut off when the blade went in just under her chin and into the roof of her mouth, and she could feel it behind her left eye. When the tip hit her brain, fireworks went off in her field of vision, and Sarah knew no more. And that, my friends, is the end of Rage Room. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Yeah, it was a little rough. I kind of wanted to go into more detail with the torture, but yeah, I stopped it where I stopped it. I should have went further, but maybe someday it'll be turned into a movie or be part of a horror show or something. I don't know. Who knows? One can only hope, right? Jessica, loved it. I'm so glad you loved it. Thank you very much. Kevin, if I didn't say so before, thank you very much for the stars. Holy shit, right? Imagine if we had to pay for some of our past sins, huh? Yeah. Damn, Kevin's not sleeping good tonight. Yeah, I don't think so. I do not think so. So you guys like this one? I was curious, and I don't know if Beth is watching right now. I was curious if this was the one that she really liked or if it's going to be one of the next two. So we've got two more stories left to read from this book. The next one that I'd be screwed. The next one we got to read is called Eddie's Basement. And it's the next one. Okay, that's good to know. So next week's story is it's a fictitious retelling of the Ed Gein story, which millions of people have done. Mine's got a little different slant to it, and Steph is the inspiration for the main character in next week's story. So, heck, we even had the cops trying to listen, right? Yeah. So yeah, there's next week's story. I did a lot of research on Ed Gein and all the stuff that happened with all of that. So yeah, so we'll be traveling back in time next week back to the 50s. Yeah, the good thing you're so innocent, Shannon. That's right. I don't have my 115 cuddle buddy. Yeah, so yeah, please join me for next week. Probably one of my very favorite stories, just because I did a lot of research on it. The idea came to me, um, basically, I don't know why Ed Gein showed up in my head. That's kind of scary, huh? But yeah, it's a little bit of a twist to that Gein story. So I hope you guys like it. So come on back here next Wednesday. Don't forget to come out. Oh yeah, I can't really say that, can I? We are doing a Tunes for Tuesday next week. It should be a solid thing. I've Bobby's gonna be joining me as well next week. So again, we're just gonna be kind of just winging it like we have been. That seems to be this season's theme, is to have no theme and just wing it. So join us on Tuesday for that. I'll put up some events for that. Curious thing, TikTok's still banning all my videos, and I don't know why. I've been able to appeal most of them, and they put them back on. But yeah, for some reason they're deleting those. I'm still on Instagram. Also, don't forget that these videos, all my live videos, they give them 30 days and then they delete them. So you can't watch them on here anymore. So I do download these onto YouTube, so you can go on my YouTube channel and watch them on there if you want to catch the whole show. If you came in halfway through, whatever, you can stop out there on YouTube. They're on there and they'll stay on YouTube for the most part. Good night, old grand one. Yes, Chuck, have a great night. Thanks again, buddy, for coming out. It's always good to see you, and I appreciate you heaps, buddy, heaps. So anyhow, you guys, thank you all very much. I actually did do a little writing last night, so after Tunes for Tuesday, and yeah, I got some stories coming on. I don't know how good they are. I just don't have the gumption for it. So I kind of have to get myself in the mood. I think a lot of it has to do with my mind is really set on studying. I'm coming to the end of my EMT classes, and I take the big test here probably in a few weeks, maybe 4 weeks. I don't know. I got to get all my prerequisites done, and hopefully they'll all be done here within the next few weeks. And then I can be an EMT, and then I'll have some real horror stories for you. How about that? So anyways, have yourselves a good rest of the week. Have a great weekend, and also have a happy Easter. I don't know what you guys are doing, but yes, enjoy your Easter. Think of it this way: Easter is a celebration of zombies, because it's a returning from the dead type of thing. Zombie Easter bunny, something like that. Okay, wait. Since it is Easter, I've got a good horror story for you. That's true. So on Easter, my dad used to, we'd come home from church, and my dad would be like, okay, I'm going to go try to catch the Easter bunny before he hides your eggs. And every year he would do this, and he'd go in and he would hide my eggs. And he said, oh, I didn't catch them in time. Now you got to go find your Easter egg. So I'd go on my own little Easter egg hunt. One year, he comes out with a floppy-eared rabbit and says he caught the Easter bunny. So I'm all stoked because I'm thinking I have the Easter bunny. And I got a little cage for him and stuff. And it's an outdoor cage because my dad didn't want him stored inside the house, even though I brought him in all the time to play. But the bunny got out, and something got a hold of it and tore its throat out. And when I came home from school, it was lying on the front step with its throat torn out and maggots eating away at the wound. And that is my Easter horror story. And it's true. So there you go. There's a happy note to end on, and wishing you happy Easter memories. Or make happy Easter memories for your kids or grandkids. All right. I'll talk to you guys all later. Love you all. Mwah. And thanks for joining me. Join me next week for Eddie's Basement. Ooh, ah, ah, ah. Oh, and pleasant dreams, Kevin. Love ya.